Okay, listen, I want to be serious for a second here just because there's been something going on that's really concerning me. Every time my face is on screen, my watch time plummets. What the hell is that? Do you think I'm ugly? Or is it just like a race thing? Because I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm kind of hoping it's just a racist thing. God, my hair just looks like it's something. It's something, alright. I feel like I could probably ride a bike without a helmet on because I already have this impenetrable dome on my head already. It's getting pretty ridiculous. Guys, this video is a bit different. Usually with these like sit down, mic in my hand, heart-to-heart type of videos, I'm talking about something going on in games and I'm giving my opinion on it, but this one's gonna have a bit more of a technical aspect to it. I've been watching tons of videos recently on games, and I do that a lot anyways, but I guess as we get closer to E3, I start taking more and more of an interest in it because I've been watching these videos and I've been hearing a lot about Game Pass, more so than usual, because of course you have the Microsoft E3 conference coming up, and Game Pass is kind of Xbox's big thing right now, so they're probably gonna push that at that conference. Now I have Game Pass. My Xbox back here is basically just a Game Pass machine because I play most of my games on PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy. I have nothing against Xbox. I don't care about the console wars. I think that's stupid. I think both consoles are cool, but just personally, I like to play on PlayStation, and Xbox, I just kind of play everything that Game Pass has. And I've absolutely loved it so far, especially for being able to play games that I never really got around to, or I never thought that I would enjoy, but I'm like, hey, I might as well try it out now, or just finding something completely new. And with all of this extra talk around it, and I'm sure we're gonna get some spicy new info on it at E3, I thought it'd be cool to go over through like some of the statistics about Xbox Game Pass. That includes the average and total price of the service, the average Metacritic scores of the games, the amount of total hours available, how many games there are of a certain genre, etc. And also trying to find out how much you would actually be saving on games if you signed up for the best deal in gaming. And all of this while trying to find ways to quantify it in a way that makes it clear how insane some of this stuff is. You'll understand what I mean by that in a second here. So honestly, let's not waste any more time, I guess. Let's get into the statistics of Xbox Game Pass. Oh, actually, let's waste just one more second here. Thank you to u/BattleVet, I think that was his name, for keeping up like the list of Game Pass stuff and that whole Excel document. That was really helpful. It was exactly what I needed. I was doing this all from scratch for a while, and it was taking a very long time. And I found this. I still had to add the prices and stuff, so it still took like 4 hours for 4 or 5 hours for me to like compile all of this stuff together. But that was a really big help, so thank you. Also for the prices, I took them directly from the Canadian Microsoft store. I'm also going to be saying what the prices are in Canadian and in US, just to be clear about everything. And as a backup, I had Steam because a lot of the time things wouldn't show up on the Microsoft store, and so I would have to look elsewhere to figure out what the prices are. Anyways, now let's waste no more time and actually talk about the statistics of Xbox Game Pass. So obviously most people will know this one already, but currently Xbox Game Pass is $14.99 a month US and $16.99 Canadian. What you might not know is this: 64% of Americans drink coffee every day. The average coffee drinker drinks 2.7 cups of coffee a day, and the average cup of coffee from a popular chain is $1.76. Meaning annually people who drink coffee spend $1,734. And if you're an at-home coffee maker, you shave about $427 off of that, so $1,307. With that same amount of money, you'd be able to buy Xbox Game Pass for a little over 7 years as a home brewer, or just under 10 years otherwise. In other words, if the average coffee drinker drank less than a third of a cup of coffee less per day, they would be able to save enough money to get access to 500 games year-round, and still have enough to buy 7 cups of celebration coffee at the end. Speaking of how many games you get access to, as of the recording of this video, the number of active games on Game Pass is 486. And that's while not separating the Xbox and PC versions of a certain game separately, even if they are slightly different versions of that game. And just so you know, the cost that I associated with that game is just the higher priced version. For context, this is 100 games and this is 486 games. Now, I doubt you'll get around to every single one of them, but that is a pretty wild thing to look at. These are pretty solid games too. The average Metacritic score of these titles is a 77.6, and to put that into perspective, that's better than titles like Blasphemous, Narita Boy, Yakuza 3 Remastered, Outlast 2, Fury, Spec Ops: The Line, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, among so many others. And that's a pretty great bunch of games if you ask me. 180 of these games hit the 80 to 89 mark on Metacritic, and 23 more hit 90 or above. A whopping 137 games either match match or exceed the Metacritic review score for Ghost of Tsushima, which is not only one of my favorite games from last year, but the title also holds the second most Game of the Year awards from 2020. And let me reiterate, 137 games on Game Pass either match or exceed that score. And is an 83 criminally low for that game? Yeah, but I'm just telling you what the numbers tell me, man. 174 games on this list fall under some type of action genre. We also have 102 shooters, 97 RPGs, 44 platformers, 19 racing games, 44 sims, 29 sports games, and 13 fighters. If for whatever reason you wanted to try out a new action game every single day this year, you'd still have a handful to go as of this video's release. If you average out the number of hours it takes to complete these games, you get a touch over 18, which means the service currently holds 8,805 hours of content. AKA, if you played these games for an entire year, 24/7, you didn't get up to eat, sleep, or piss, you still wouldn't be able to finish everything on here. Now, let's be realistic with how much you're actually going to be saving here, and I split it up into a few different tiers. From an avid player, somebody who will play up to 5 games a month on this service, all the way down to somebody who's only playing 1 game a month. Now, I wasn't able to get the price of a couple of games here, but I did get it for the vast majority of them, and shockingly, the average cost of these titles on the Canadian Microsoft Store, or Steam as a backup, is $30.58 Canadian. Converting that to US dollars, we get $25.38 based on the current conversion that we have right now. But games usually stick to that 75% conversion rate, so more likely it's $22.94 USD. That means even if you're only playing 1 game from this service per month, based on the averages, you're probably getting a 35% discount there. Moving all the way up to somebody who would play 5 games a month on this service, and based on the completion time averages, that means on average you're playing 3 hours a day on Game Pass games, and your savings statistically go to an 87% discount on your games. And remember, this average is kind of dragged down somewhat by basically mobile games that they made available on PC, or games like Bejeweled, so if you're buying some more recognizable titles, it's pretty safe to say if you get up here in games played per month, you're hitting 90% savings, which is insane. If you got 90% off a PlayStation 5, that's $50. If the only games you were interested in this year were MLB The Show, Halo Infinite, and Outriders, just those 3 games, the entire year, that's all you cared about, it would still technically be 12 cents cheaper to buy the entire Game Pass service than it would be to buy those 3 games separately, and you would still get those 3 games day one. In fact, here in Canada, you would actually be saving $36.12 because the Game Pass conversion rate isn't as harsh as the normal games conversion rate, so you would be making $36 getting all 500 games instead of just buying the 3. There are 383 Xbox Game Pass games available on PC and 370 games available on Xbox. This one surprised me a little bit. I wasn't expecting PC to have more than Xbox, but at the same time, as I was eyeballing it, some of the more bottom of the barrel stuff usually ends up on PC, so I guess it kind of makes sense from that standpoint. And finally, the cumulative cost of every game on Game Pass minus like a dozen or so that were weirdly impossible to find the prices for. I don't want to get into all that, but it is $14,088 Canadian. Jesus Lord Almighty. I just did the calculation for the first time because I wanted to be surprised, and yeah, I kind of am. That is, how much is that US? Okay, so based on the current conversion, that's 11,693 US, but more likely with game conversions, that's 10,566, so still over $10,000 total. If you're one of those players I mentioned who plays 5 games a month on this service, you're playing most likely $1,376 worth of games, and you're paying $179. You're saving $1,200 US dollars per year with that math. Listen, I understand that it's not a one-to-one thing, okay? You're probably buying games still that are off the service. You're probably only trying some games out because they're on here and you wouldn't have tried them out anyways, so are you really saving money in that sense? You can get all into the nitty-gritty of this stuff, but still, like, just making this video really made me understand just how this best deal in gaming is. 90% of a discount if you're playing 5 games a month. Just think about that for a second. That's insane. And yes, eventually the price is gonna shoot up. That's inevitable. But at the same time, it also feels like this whole service is in its infancy. Like, there's so many Xbox games that have been announced, they've been shown cinematics, all of this kind of stuff, and we just haven't seen them come out in the past couple years. So I'm assuming there's gonna be this huge boom of Xbox exclusives coming up in the next couple years. in which case the assets on this service are just gonna shoot up in price. They also acquired EA Play. They might acquire more things as they go along. I would guess that if I did this video like 3 years from now, for example, I redid this, it would probably be even crazier numbers than I'm seeing currently. But I mean, I guess we'll see when we get there. Anyways, everybody, I appreciate you watching this far. If you did, like I said, slightly different video for me, but I kind of want to do more of these, like talking about technical stuff and then really framing just how insane they are. Videos mixed in with like the opinion pieces and stuff. And then obviously I have like the review and analysis videos, or the recommendations, or the outlooks on things. I do a bunch of stuff, but it's all about gaming. If that stuff interests you, take a look at the channel, hit the subscribe button, look through a few videos. There's playlists in the description, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.